So create your equation. 4x minus 6 equals 3x plus 5. Go ahead, solve that for x. Now, both of these angles are congruent, but it's told us to find the measure of angle J. So after we solve for x, we're going to substitute it into that angle. Yes. Sure. So let's go ahead and solve this for x. How would you solve this for x? What would you do? Add the 6. And then what'd you say, Jaden? Oh, I thought you said something. So we add the 6. We get 4x equals 3x plus 11. And now what? What should we do? Subtract 3x. So who got x equals 11? All right, so now let's go ahead and substitute that in. So the measure of angle J equals 4 times 11 minus 6. So pick up your calculators and see what you get. I think she's trying to get back in. Somebody let her back in. So what is 4 times 11 minus 6? 44 minus 6. 38. Anybody else get 38? All right, good. That would be your final answer. And that is what you would put on your test. Any questions about how we work through that? All right, so let's go ahead and finish out our notes in your yellow packet. Go to page 22. And we talked about this on, what's this? Today's Wednesday, so Monday. So whenever you see our two tangents, so this is a tangent, and this is a tangent. These two angles are actually equal to 180. So this angle plus this angle equals 180. That's what the word supplementary means. So on page 22, when you see that, to me it looks like a party hat. So the opposite angles in the party hat are supplementary. They add up to 180 degrees. And this was the only question that we could not do on homework 3. So now we can finish that. So when I look at this example, let's go ahead and fill this in. This says angle EGF. So EGF. So I'm going to put this. That angle goes right here. Let me go ahead and zoom in. So this 19x plus 5 is right here. Or 19x plus, what does that say? 9. That's this angle. And then it tells us the measure of angle D, which is 10x minus 3. That goes right here. This 10x minus 3. So these two angles add up to equal 180. So we're going to create an equation. And our equation is going to say 19x plus 9 plus 10x minus 3 equals 180. Go ahead and solve that for x. So we're going to combine our like terms. And that's going to give us 29x. And then 9 minus 3 is positive 6. And then what are we going to do? Take away 6. So I'm depending on y'all. I don't have my calculator. So we have 29x equals 164. Oh, what is it? 174. Thank you so much. 180 minus 6 is 174. Thank you. And then divide that by 29. So pick up your calculators. What's 174 divided by 29? 6. Do we agree? Who else got 6? I don't have a calculator, so okay. So we have x equals 6, but we're not done because it wants us to find the measure of angle D. So we need to put that in that 10x minus 3. So the measure of angle D is 10 times x minus 3 or 10 times 6 minus 3. 57? Who got 57 degrees? All right, so the main thing, to me, it looks like a party hat. I don't know. Back when I was, we used to wear these little paper party hats. And whenever I see this reminds me of a party hat. So the angles opposite of the party hat equal 180. What did you say? Or a pizza slice. All right, let's go ahead and do this one. Same thing. So we have angle XWZ. So that would be this one. This angle here is 7x plus 10. And then this angle is 4x plus 5. And again, 7x plus 10 plus 4x plus 5 equals 180. Go ahead and solve that for x. She got 2 calculators on her desk. She'll probably let you have one. Who got 15? Okay. So we can go ahead and take a look at how I solved that. I combine my like terms. So the 7x and 4x gives me 11x. The 10 plus 5 is 15. Subtract 15 from both sides. So 11x equals 165 and divide by 11 and x equals 15. But it's asking us to find the measure of angle y. So the measure of angle y is 4 times x plus 5. So let's put our 15 in. Go ahead and type that in your calculator. 4 times 15 plus 5. And you should get 65 degrees. Make sure, because again, I'm not using the calculator up here. That will be your final answer on the test. So the last thing we're going to talk about We're on our last page, is graphing a circle and writing an equation of a circle. So equations of a circle, which is 5.7. The main thing to keep in mind is this right here. Go ahead and circle this or underline and highlight this. This is the equation of a circle. HK, that's always the center of the circle. And then R represents the radius. So when we write our equation, we have to figure out the center. The X value is H, the Y value is K. And then we will use our radius to graph it. So let's start by graphing a couple circles. So let me zoom in here. This is H and K, and this is R squared. Now you always flip the sign. Can somebody open up the door? Somebody's trying to get in. So H is always the opposite of what you see. So you all see how it says a -2? So, but H is the opposite of -2. What's the opposite of -2? +2. And what's the opposite of -1? So we have a center. Where it says center, I want you to write that it's 2, 1. That's my center. My center is at 2, 1. Now this 9, this is the radius squared. So to find the radius, you would type in your calculator. If you don't know what it is, type in the square root of 9. You have to figure out what the square root of that number is. So if you type in the square root of 9, what is the square root of 9? 3. All right, so let's go ahead and graph a circle. So the first thing we're going to do is put our point at 2, 1. So let me zoom in. So I'm going to put a point at 2, 1. So that would be right here. So that red dot, that's my center. Who had that? So your radius is 3. So we're going to go up 3, down 3, left 3, and right 3. So from this point, I want you to go up 3, put a point. So up 3, put a point. Down 3, put a point. 1, 2, 3. Go left 3, 1, 2, 3. Right 3. And then do your best to connect that to make a round circle. And that is your graph. That's it. That's how you graph a circle. The hardest part is figuring out where is the center, what's the radius. So let's look at this next one here. What would be my center? Remember, it's the opposite. So it's not +3, it would be what? -3. And it would be -1. Go ahead, type in the square root of 16 if you don't know what it is. Type in the square root of 16 to get your radius. And what's the square root of 16? 4. All right, let's go ahead and graph it. Put a point at -3, -1. So let me zoom in. So -3, -1, that's my center. Wait, did I do that right? Is it -3, -1? Yeah, okay. And now my radius is 4. So I'm going to go up 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point. Hop down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point. And then from the center, go left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point. Right 4. So this circle is a little bigger because it has a bigger radius. And that is your graph. All right, last page of our notes. Let's finish it on out. So now we have a circle and we need to write the equation. So the first thing we need to do is figure out where is the center of this circle. So what I like to do is I like to draw a line from the widest parts, and where they come together is the center. So I know my center is right here. That's the center of my circle. So where did I put that point? -3. And what else? What's the y value? 0. All right, now how many hops? What's the distance from this red point to the edge, from here to here? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means the radius is 4. So let's go ahead and write our equation. So I'm going to make my 2 parentheses. That's what I always do. In my first parentheses, I'm going to put the opposite of -3. So instead of a -3, I'm not going to put x minus 3. I'm going to put the opposite. So instead of x minus 3, I'm going to put x plus 3. 0 doesn't really have a sign. So you can just put a y, or you can put y plus 0 or y minus 0. They're all the same thing. And that equals 4 squared. So what is 4 times 4? 16. That would be your answer. I want you to try to write the equation on your own for this next one. I'm going to come around and see what we get. No, we'll do number 2 together, and then you can do the next 2 on your own. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out where is our center. So my center, I like to draw my lines. Okay, where do they intersect? So it intersects right here. So that's my center. And that point is -2, 4. The radius is 3. So again, you just make your 2 parentheses and square it. But in the parentheses, you put the opposite. So I'm not going to put a -2. I'm going to put an x plus 2. And I'm not going to put a positive 4. I'm going to put a y minus 4. And that equals 9. All right, go ahead and try to do the next 2 on your own. X comes first, Y comes second. So you see how I wrote that up here? That should be X plus 3. Y, that should be the X plus 2. Y minus 4. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Let's kind of work through it together real quick. So for number 3, where was the center? What's the center? So, Steven, what did you put for the center? For number 3. I didn't hear you. 0 what? 0, 1. Who agrees with that? Who got 0, 1? Joanna, what did you say for the radius? 5. Who had that same radius? Okay. So you make your 2 parentheses. So this is what you do. You got to make your parentheses, square it. That's your the format that you want to use. Then this has an X and this one has a Y. And then you just put the opposite. 0 is the only number that doesn't have a opposite. So you could just leave the X by itself, or you could put X plus 0 or X minus 0. Yep, you could put a minus 0, you could put a plus 0, or you could leave X by itself. Does anybody have a question about that? Because 0 doesn't change the value. But in this parentheses, what am I going to write with that Y? Do I put a plus 1 or a minus 1? Minus 1. And then it equals 5 squared. And what is 5 times 5? 25. This is the only answer you could give me. All right, let's do this next one. So Glaudy, what did you say for the center? For number 4. You said, what did you say?
3 and 2.
Yep, so the 2 would come first and the 3 would come second. And then for the radius, King, what did you put for the radius? Yep. Anybody else think it's 2? I think it's 2. Because we right here and there's only 2 hops, so 2. So let's make our 2 parentheses, square it. So in this first one, I'm going to put an X in the first one, put a Y in the second one. So what am I putting in this first parentheses? A plus 2 or a minus 2? Minus 2. And what goes in the second parentheses? And what does that equal? 4, because it's 2 squared. All right, the last 4, they give us the center and the radius, and we just have to write our equation. So let's go ahead and do it. So again, we just make our parentheses. X goes in the first, Y goes in the second. So I'm going to put the opposite of positive 3, and the opposite of positive 3 would be a minus 3. The opposite of positive 8 would be a minus 8. Trying to make an 8, there we go. And it's going to equal 8 times 8, which is 64. So I got this number by taking the radius squared, or 8 squared. All right, let's do this next one together, and then you can do the last 2 on your own. Make your 2 parentheses squared. All right. Again, in that first parentheses, you're going to drop this number, but you have to flip it. So it wouldn't be a negative 14, it would be a positive 14. In my second parentheses, I'm not going to put a positive 10, I'm going to put a negative 10. But what does it equal? I think that's the hardest part. 4. All right, go ahead and do the last 2. And then I will check your answers. And you should be able to finish all of homework 4. And if you show it to me today, how much time we got? I might give extra credit for it tomorrow too. Any questions? Go ahead and check your answers. Did you get the same thing I got for those 2? All right, use this time. Finish your homework 4. What did I do wrong? So, but it always equals 4 squared. So it equals r squared. So at the end, you always have to square the radius. You have to square the radius. So it equals, so right here, yeah, so this is 4 times 4. Good question, though. You can just put it on my desk.